In this Lightroom video, we're going to have a look at how we can use the tone curve to enhance tones and fine-tune colors in our photos. Now, this is our starting image on the left here, and you can see it's looking rather flat, lacking a bit of punch. We can use the tone curve not only to increase the contrast and add a bit of punch, but also to boost saturation and to tweak the colors to give it a warmer feel. So let's get cracking. So if we bring up our panels here in the Lightroom Develop module, you can see I've already made a few changes to enhance the tones using the basic settings here, but we can use the tone curve to add punch and bring the image to life. Now, if you've not used the tone curve before, it can seem a little bit tricky, but if we just get to grips with a few fundamentals, then it all makes sense. If we drag the curve line up, we lighten the image. If we drag it down, we darken the image. So that's the tone curve at its most simple. You can see we have this histogram in the background of the box that shows us the range of tones in our image. Now, this is key because we can start to adjust different parts of the tonal range, from the shadows on the left side of the graph to the highlights on the right side of the graph. Now, when we drag our line above its original diagonal starting point, then we lighten a part of the tonal range. So you can see at the moment I'm lightening the entire image, but I can add a second control point on my line here and drag down. And you can see as I drag down, I can drag below that original starting point to darken part of the tonal range. So you can see now any tones that are in the shadow range here are going to be darkened, and the highlight range here is going to be lightened. And of course we can add further points here. So let's say I want to just lift the very darkest tones. I can add another point here just to prevent those darkest shadow tones from going completely black. I can also preserve the very brightest tones by dragging the top part of the curve line down very slightly. So you can see in areas where we make a steeper curve, we increase contrast. Where we make a flatter curve, we reduce contrast. And one of the most powerful curves edits you can make is an S curve. So we can sort of plot an S-shaped curve like this to boost the overall contrast of the image and to add punch. And it also boosts saturation. And if I toggle my curve off and on, you can see the difference that has on my image. It's much more punchy and it jumps out of the screen a lot more. Now, if we zoom in closer, we might also want to boost some of the colors in the sunset here. And we can do this by targeting different color channels. We've got a red channel, a green channel, and a blue channel. Now, if we go to the red channel, you can see this overlay in the background of the box gives us a good idea of what's going to happen. If we drag the curve line towards the red side of the box, then we introduce red. If we drag towards the cyan side of the box down at the bottom, then we introduce cyan into the image. So I could perhaps drag slightly towards red to give the image more of a warm feel like this. If we go to the green channel here, you can see we can either shift the colors towards green or towards magenta like this. I don't want to touch the green channel here, so I'm going to right click and reset that channel. With the blue channel, we can either shift our colors towards blue or towards yellow. Now, similarly as with the composite channel here, we can go into these individual color channels and introduce colors to different parts of our tonal range. So I could perhaps, if I like, introduce a touch of yellow only into the highlights. So I can click here to anchor my line in place and then drag the very top point downwards here. And you can see how this allows me to shift the highlights towards yellow, but leave the rest of the range unaffected. And in a similar way, if I like, I could add a touch of blue into the shadows by dragging up on the bottom part of the line here. I could drag down to add yellow into those shadows as well. So it's worth experimenting with these color channels within the tone curve to add creative color shifts to your photos. And that's my finished image. So if I toggle off all of those tone curve settings and then toggle back on, you can see the difference a few simple edits to the tone curve can make.